good screenplays. I always admired Blade Runner screenplay. I think it was really good. Alien, another very good screenplay. Terminator 2, also fantastic ones. But I can't remember who wrote them. But whoever did that is a genius. And then, but out of them all, I think I've always been a huge John Hughes fan, who wrote a lot of very good sort of teen comedy dramedies in the 80s and 90s, and John Hughes is fantastic guy. The idea of Nazis on the moon, that was it's actually quite a persistent conspiracy theory that's been going on ever since the end of the Second World War. There was a lot of people who were sort of aware of a lot of secret Nazi experiments, but so rumors started to fly, and there was a rumor that the Nazis had a space program, that they ended up on the moon. And it's been used later on after that, I mean, in conspiracy theory texts, but also a lot in other stuff, like, for example, pulp fiction, comics, and literature, but it has never been made into a film. So we thought that since science fiction is very much about Nazis, every big science fiction brand, they always have their Nazi, sort of their equivalent of Nazis, whether it's the Empire or the Romulans, or whether it's Cylons or whatever totalitarian entity that believes that they are better than some other entity. There's always the Nazis out there. So we thought that since it's so familiar with science fiction, since nobody ever made a film about it, it's territory which we should conquer. I made my first film, which is called Star Trek in the Perkinning, already in that model. It started in 1998. We started to ask people to collaborate with us, help us with the script, help us with the characters, help us with the story, with basically all the elements that made the film: graphics, visuals, sound, music, everything. And we had a good experience. It was a rather chaotic experience with Star Trek. But when we started to do Iron Sky, we realized that was the one thing that made Star Trek very special, something that had not been done before. And we wanted to take that model and bring it to Iron Sky as well. Originally, the reason we started to work with collaboratively was because we didn't have those resources available. With Iron Sky, we could have had those resources available, and we mostly had those resources available, but we were able to pump those resources up and sort of get more bang for the buck. In the end, we were still operating, although now we were operating with many millions of euros, we were still operating on a very small budget when you compare this type of a script to what you would spend in Hollywood, for example. There's a lot of stories, and I would like to encourage a lot of screenwriters look into conspiracy theories, because there's a good wealth of very interesting stories, which has a lot of background done to that. And I would love to see a lot of, what I would like to say to screenwriters is, I want to do films that are about alternative history or based on conspiracy theory. This is a topic that has not been explored enough. I think that should be something that, if you want to sell a film for me, start from there.
We find it
we thought that since it's so familiar with